Your FastMCP server needs that API key, but the subprocess can't see your shell environment. Here's how to fix it. We'll see exactly how to pass environment variables to STDIO transports in FastMCP2 using the explicit env parameter to bridge the isolation gap between your client and the server process. The pattern handles everything from API keys to debug flags while keeping sensitive data contained. From FastMCP import client. Hash if your server needs environment variables, like API keys. Hash you must explicitly pass them. Client equals client. My server, pi. Env equals API key. Secret, debug. True. Hash this won't work. The server runs in isolation. Hash export API key equals secret. Hash in your shell. Hash client equals client. My server, pi. Hash server can't see API key. This demonstrates the environment isolation pattern in subprocess management. When launching external processes, FastMCP enforces strict environment boundaries by default, preventing accidental inheritance of parent process variables. This deliberate isolation creates a security boundary between your client environment and the server subprocess, ensuring sensitive data isn't leaked unintentionally. The pattern works by making environment variables an explicit dependency rather than an implicit inheritance. Instead of relying on ambient configuration from the parent shell, you must declaratively pass required variables through the transport layer. This shifts environment management from an invisible side effect to a visible, controlled operation, making dependencies explicit and configurations reproducible. This approach solves the classic "works on my machine" problem in subprocess communication. By requiring explicit environment passing, you eliminate hidden dependencies while gaining precise control over server configuration. The trade-off is slightly more verbose setup, but the benefit is predictable behavior across different deployment environments and security contexts. Let's break it down line by line. From FastMCP import client. Imports the client class from FastMCP, the core interface for connecting to and controlling FastMCP servers. This is your entry point for all server interactions, from deployment to execution. Hash if your server needs environment variables, like API keys. Hash you must explicitly pass them. Client equals client. FastMCP servers run in isolated processes, so they can't access your shell's environment variables. This explicit env parameter injects required variables like API keys directly into the server's environment, ensuring they're available at runtime. My server, pi. This specifies the server entry point file. FastMCP executes my server, pi, in an isolated process, ensuring environment and state separation from your main application. The file name must match exactly what you'd run with Python myserver, pi. Env equals API key, secret, debug, true. This explicitly injects environment variables into the server's isolated process. FastMCP servers can't inherit shell environment variables, so this env parameter is the only way to pass secrets or configuration. Without it, your server would fail to access required credentials like API keys. Closes the client initialization, finalizing the environment variable configuration. This ensures the server receives all required runtime settings before connection, preventing undefined behavior from missing environment variables. Hash this won't work. The server runs in isolation. Hash export API key equals secret. Hash in your shell. Hash client equals client. My server, pi. Hash server can't see API key. This demonstrates FastMCP's isolation principle. Environment variables set in your shell aren't inherited by the server process, defeating any expectation of shared environment state. Always pass required variables explicitly through the env parameter. Environment isolation pattern. FastMCP servers execute in isolated subprocesses, requiring explicit environment variable passing through the env parameter rather than inheriting from the parent shell. The server won't see variables set via export in your terminal, even if they appear available to your client script. Always pass sensitive configuration through the env dictionary when initializing the client or STDIO transport.
The environment that disappears becomes the only environment